And on the Democratic side, a huge night for Hillary Clinton, winning 7 Super Tuesday states compared to Bernie Sanders' 4. So the big question now, is it the end of the road for the Sanders campaign? Well, let's ask our Democratic panel. Benjamin is a Democratic strategist, and Emily Tisch is also a Democratic strategist and the campaign director for American Progress. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being with us. Emily, I'll start with you. It was a big day for Hillary Clinton. The question now is this still really a race between Clinton and Sanders? Obviously, he's got the money. He says he's staying in this. He won 4 states yesterday. Is it still a competition?
I think competition would be strong. I think the underdog is exactly where Sanders is comfortable. I think it's where his supporters like him. And I actually think that this position is exactly what Sanders, the base, is looking for, which is a glimmer of hope. A glimmer of hope is all they ever need to energize. And so the money keeps flowing. He'll stay in the race. You know, he won a couple of states. That's good, a little bit of momentum. But as you mentioned before, the delegate count just really is not realistic for him to be able to make it all the way through the convention. But he'll stay in for a little bit longer and keep the race competitive. Keeps us talking about it, so it's not a bad thing.
Brian, as I mentioned, Bernie Sanders raising more than, what, $40 million in the month of February. You talked to us earlier this morning. We're a little more optimistic about that matchup.
Well, I was optimistic of what it meant for the party, but not for Bernie Sanders. I mean, he, unfortunately, is now not exceeding expectations, right? What he did in Iowa and New Hampshire exceeded expectations. That gives hope. That gives people the feeling, oh, my God, maybe he can do something here. Now he's going in the other direction. There was nothing that he did not overperform anywhere. He actually underperformed. He lost Massachusetts. And so when you look at that, I can't see the energy that he needs beyond his small base of people. He needs general Democrats like me and Emily to say, you know what, maybe this is something we should do, and he's not moving that direction at all. And so I think he's now going in the opposite direction. I think really Hillary has now shut the door on this, and she's just going to kind of cruise into the nomination.
Well, and Emily, the big question now then for Republicans, if it is going to be Hillary Clinton, as many people are talking about, who is best to go up against her on the Republican side? You look at our polling, Donald Trump, who could very well be the nominee, actually comes out the worst against Clinton, 42% to 47% against Clinton.
I think that's right. I think that Clinton does very well in a head-to-head against Trump. I think a lot of people going into this election thought that it would be a base fight between Republicans and Democrats, each amping up their own base. But if Trump is the nominee, he pulls from a very specific part of the population. If you look at where he had strong turnout last night, it was really primarily in rural areas, and he really struggled to do well in other parts of the state. So if he's going to be able to bridge that gap and really compete against Clinton, he's going to have to be able to figure out how to do better with a lot of other kinds of Republicans and a lot of independents, economic, you know, people who are strictly economic, moderate, those who are looking for like a smart business investment. And they may not love Hillary, but I actually do think a lot of independents and Republicans would move to her if it is in a head-to-head.
Yeah, Brian, as it stands now, Donald Trump does not beat Hillary Clinton, but Ted Cruz does, 46 to 45%. That's something he can go out on the trail and talk about.
Well, Ted is not going to win. but I do think we're looking at Trump as he stands now. I believe in a general election, Trump is going to run to the center so fast we're not going to know what hit us. I think Trump is a mass marketer. I think he understands what he's doing, and he sees us for what it is. And I think that is why I think he's most dangerous. And I think he's bringing a lot of more people to this party than we have seen. And I think that is reminding us of Obama a little bit. Now, obviously not the same ideology, but he is really, what he did in Virginia cannot be understated. And I think in a general election against Hillary, who is not the best candidate, even though I support her, I think Trump can do some very interesting things.
You sound like a lot of Democrats when you say that. Emily, I want to get your thoughts on Rubio, because he says he's staying in this thing, and when he goes up against Clinton, it's 48 to 44. He beats her. This is something that he continues to tout on the trail.
Yeah, Rubio would potentially be the hardest in a head-to-head versus Clinton, but the delegates are not there. The voters just have not been there. I mean, the money is there, for sure. And a lot of Republicans, even his colleagues who don't necessarily love him, feel like he's the best path forward for the party. A path forward with Trump at the top of the ticket is very difficult for a lot of Republicans, not just because it's not the party that they identify with, that they think they say is their own, but it also hurts them. It hurts them when they're trying to hold on to the Senate. It hurts them with the margins they could potentially lose much higher in the House, if not lose the House. He hurts them all the way down the ticket. So Rubio is someone that could look potentially appealing, but he's just not getting there. It's getting harder and harder.
It's such an unpredictable race, isn't it? All right, Emily, Brian, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Heather?